issues that I was trying to figure out, but we're on. So these works just came back a couple days ago, and it's ink on Bristol with screen tone. And if you can see that there's like a light blue underneath, this it was sketched digitally and then printed on a light blue, and then I used that as the sketch to make the basis for the drawing um, on the board, and then the ink on top of those pencils, the pencil on top of the blue line, and the ink on top of those pencils on top of the blue line to make this image. Um, there's very couple of these, right? Um, and it's just this trip where I was just trying to make images that would narrate this idea, and it wasn't really structured in a way, but it was structured enough that the idea would flow to the next thing in a just an interesting way. Um, the tones are coming apart, coming off. Um, to start it off with the idea of these like quantum gods, who are kind of like the gatekeepers or the guardians of the access towards to the noosphere, which basically it's like this process of these gods, quantum gods, goddesses. Actually, they're goddesses, and one is like a god and goddess. I forgot the name of it, but she is both. She's ungendered and both genders at the same time, and they are opening the gateway for our minds to just to receive an idea. So the ideas come from this space called the noosphere, and we kind of download them and whatnot. Um, so that's like an idea traversing this portal into this other world where let's see, I can put it in. I can try and put it in order. Let's see. So we have this goddess. That is male and female at the same time, and she is lassoing stars from a shower of stars, and then she's capturing also those with her tentacles, and she is consuming or transforming that in her body into a star that's on I guess it would be, I guess it is a phallus. But at the same time, she's female, and that star is being then transformed. So this is like a larger god, and these other characters are the ones who receive that information and transform that. So he's like doing this music and transforming that star to be birth as a flower. It's a flower crystal, and then uh, the pollen of that crystal begins to gravitate here, and that's what we saw in the previous image over here, right? And that gets retransformed again by uh, her playing these cosmic crystal drums, and the crystals begin to levitate and vibrate to become these platonic ideas, right? And shaped by this shaper, by this idea shaper. And these platonic ideas are, let's see, are manifest as these crystal flowers that take shape and form. And these crystal flowers let out the crystal pollen, and that's received by, that's sent into the space, and then once in a while, in a certain moment in time, uh, uh, one of those pollens drops into this dimension, this territory where these wizards, monks, priestesses, wizardess. I don't know really, these entities receive the pollen and transform that into nutrients to be consumed, right? And the nutrients, the crystal particles become this little being that becomes the access to when the individual consumes them, becomes this access towards this space in towards the entrance. So it's a portal. So it's towards the entrance to activate your presence inside the noosphere. These are some images from the new Starseeds book that I'm making. I think it's probably going to be called Starseeds, the noosphere. Same thing with this. Same thing with that. These are the 4 cosmic forces: gravity, strong force, weak force, and electromagnetism. Okay, I'm gonna put those away, and I've been working on the previous pieces that I need so I can finish issue 2. So issue 2, I need to finish this image of this character. Her name is Iris. That's the one that I had previously finished before. This is Arco, one of the beautiful dreamers. So that's ink on Bristol. Usually what I do is I do a sketch in, well, this was finished in digitally, but I decided to make it, I wouldn't make the art by hand. So this one was already fully thought out, so it's printed out, fully thought out, but let's see. Show you a sketch that I have. Oh, here it is. Where's the original to that? So basically, that's a digital sketch, right? That's the what I did digitally to get everything done to the right size that I'm working on. So that's sketched out. The red line you see is what's sketched out in Clip Studio Paint. Then I print that out and I go over that with pencil and Sharpie, and I figure out a tighter drawing of that, a tighter sketch, and then I light box it onto a piece of Bristol paper, and then I ink it, and that's how I arrive at a finished artwork. And I don't usually work like that. I mean, it's part of my process. It's not, I don't do everything like that. It just depends what I have, and I'm thinking of more so of working with velocity, I mean, to make it fast. So it's like the process is making this faster, and it helps. It helps the process go smoothly, having a ideated idea, and then I figure that out on pencils on the board, and then I ink that. So here I am already working on that. The next character I want to ink, and I'm doing the drawing by the character by hand. I think then the text, I definitely go off with what I have done digitally, just because it's I'm not very good with rulers and sizes, so if I figure it out digitally already, it's just easier for me to translate that into ink. So here I am. working on Iris. The name of the character is Arco Iris, which means rainbow in Spanish. So it's like a two-word rainbow in Spanish. The same thing in English. It's a two-word idea, right? Mm. Uh, so yeah, so okay, that's the characters, and I'm figuring out the character, how I'm gonna probably ink it, um, and I'm trying to figure out these um, Kirby crackles that I'm using. So I don't know if you can see, but I just use what's already done as a basis to be a guide to what I'm trying to achieve. And I have no qualms with doing it, using all the tools I have at my disposal to make something work. I mean, and I say this because I've heard like it's, and specifically from collectors, because I'm part of this forum in Facebook, and they it's really important to them, to some, that they really enjoy art that is actually, you know, doesn't go through an art process, and sorry, to a digital art process. And I understand that they really give a lot of value to like sitting down and just like coming up with what is there, what you're creating just by on the paper. And yeah, I mean, yeah, definitely I think using digital is a pre-ideation, and I enjoy it. It makes the workflow easier, because I'm working for deadline to get stuff done to get it printed. So I don't have those like artistic qualms. To me, it's about uh, speed, and sometimes about how things I can do digitally that takes me longer by doing by hand. So it doesn't matter. So here I'm just getting the drawing done before I go to ink. So okay, and I'm using this pencil. It's a Blackwing matte pencil that I got from a studio tour that I participated in San Diego. It was called Here and There, and they gave out little notebooks plus Blackwing pencils, and a lot of people left their pencils afterwards, and I collected them, and I asked absolutely permission to grab, because I knew they were good pencils. I've never tried them or never bought them, and I'm like, okay. And then I drew with them there. And I'm like, wow, these pencils are really good. So this is one of the last ones that I have. As you can see, small. It's been used, and believe me, the lead on this is so soft. It is a beautiful damn pencil. I mean, it's 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 really good. It's fun to draw with these. Um, when I can, I will be purchasing a box of these pencils, um, just because drawing with them is a joy, and it's soft, but at the same time you can ink on top of it, and it won't. Um, what's the word? How to explain this? It won't make the ink not stick on the paper, or that it sticks on the graphite, and then when you erase it comes off. But wait, don't hold me, don't hold me with what I just said against that, me, because I might be completely wrong, and uh, but I guess it works out pretty good. I'm happy. I enjoy working with these a lot. Okay, so I'm just working on getting those shapes ready. So figuring everything out. So when I ink, I just have to focus on getting, you know, beautiful shapes done and filled. I definitely work from having stuff, everything figured out in the sketch phase. It gives me the results and the capacity to like pre-visualize the results because um, that's how I work. That's how I'm able to create artwork at this time. So we have that, and now I will turn off the light table and turn on back the light. And now it's time to begin to ink these, and I'm gonna ink these with a 08 with a 08 micron. And I just basically what I do is I just do the outlines so I can know what it is I'm gonna ink, and then I kind of work. Well, you guys will see. I mean, I'm just gonna do the outlines now. So it is this process of every time I know that every time I go over the image from the sketch, from the rough sketch to like the sketch on paper to then to the inking, I'm constantly slightly, what would be the word, adjusting the drawing to what it's going to become. So it goes through like various cleanup before end up with the final image. I don't know if that's good or not. That's how I work. I mean, I enjoy the end result, and it's the best way. I mean, it's the way I think I best work. So this is just my process. It's a process. It's not the process, and I think all artists have their process, and that's the fun part of making comics, making art, is that it definitely is an individual process to make your own art. I mean, not that it's very different from other, I think, from other artists, but it, everybody else does variations of this or have their own way of doing these things. And that's interesting. I find that really interesting. That everybody has their own process of doing things and their reasons for doing it the way they do it, and that's fine. I don't think there's only one way to do things. If there was, then life would be really fucking boring. So take these comments, these notions, and I'm sharing as just for what they are, how I figured out procedural steps for me to enjoy making my comics, and for me to enjoy sitting down and making the art by hand. Because at the beginning, everything I would do or had done in my previous books, which is Starseeds, published by Fantagraphics, I made it mostly digital. I think 3/4 of most books are digital and analog. And I'm trying to do this new series completely analog. by that I mean by hand. And at the beginning, it was such a fucking struggle. I hated it. I hated it so much because I could never end up making it look how I wanted, and I would get some like really frustrated, and I feel that I wasted precious time investing in trying to figure out how best to make my art by hand, and this is what I figured out. It's like very graphic, um, shape-based drawings. I think it does like make them kind of static and flat, but I think that's what I'm going for whatever reason. It has to do maybe with my design, graphic design studies. For whatever reason, that's again, that's how I chose to do them for whatever reason, and I personally enjoy them. Oops, made a mistake there. I'm just talking too much, not paying attention. Doesn't matter. The good thing is, an artist's best friend is some kind of correction fluid. Pro White works really well. So keep going. Nobody's on stream asking me questions, so it's kind of hard for me to chat. I don't know. Hi. Maybe because it's Sunday. Nobody really people are not not paying attention or have other more important things to do, like chill on a Sunday. And believe me, I'm gonna chill too. I'm gonna wait for Sunday night football and watch the Chargers play the Kansas City Chiefs. But before that, I wanted it to be a creative day, and so I decided to start doing this stream, and it's something I'm gonna do. It's gonna be a weekly stream. Well, I don't know what it will be. It will be when I'm gonna sit down. I'm gonna try to make it that when I sit down to work, I'm recording it. I hope you guys don't find that fucking annoying or not, but I think it's a way for me to share whatever knowledge I have and the process to viewers who would wanna who support my work or wanna learn how to make comics. I think that's a good way to go. It could be enjoyable. If I get out of the way, it could be enjoyable. So okay. Obviously, I can be pretty impatient. So one of the things that I'm gonna do is I'm gonna after I get it drawn on get the line drawing done on sorry, I got a shot here going on the other side on this side. So okay, so basically when I get this done, I erase the drawing, the lead, the graphite, because I've noticed that this cheap paper that I'm using, which is pretty good for what it is, but still could be better. I have some really good paper, which is like 5-ply or 3-ply Bristol 500 series, but I'm using the Strathmore 300 series, the yellow pads, 18 by 24. I cut those down by the middle, and so each page gives me two 12 by 19 pages, and those are the page size that I work to make my comics. So, okay, so that's black. That's white. Black. Black. Ooh, okay. I have a little problem right there that I have to. Don't have the mental capacity to figure out. Okay. Turn that off. Turn that light on. So basically, what I do is I use where's my fat marker brush pen? I use, is that it? No, that's the Copic. I use these are combinations of these Pigma brush pens and these zebra brush pens that are kind of mid point. That's a fine point. That's like a medium point. And what I do is I go around each shape. Okay, why do I do this? Because I'm a terrible. I don't have the beautiful. I haven't developed, right, the beautiful dexterity that some comic book artists have that I admire. There's a bunch of them. It's like they can sit down and just wing and sling the ink, and they understand. They understand what they're doing basically, which is to make a line thick and thin, and make something black, and they're going on directly off like rough sketches, and they have figured out to be able how to bring something alive with their inks. I am very methodical. I have not reached a place where I enjoy the work, how it ends up when I do that. I've been practicing, but it's going, this has always been my practice. So it's very counterintuitive, and I suffer a lot, and I don't enjoy it. And this is very meditating because it's like, okay, you do the outlines, right? And you get all the outlines first. You get the drawing down first, and then you get the outlines done, and then you fill in those outlines, and then the shape, the drawing comes alive. Again, I haven't figured out. I'm still figuring it out, but believe me, from what I was doing when I started figuring out doing it by hand to the way I'm doing it now, it's definitely light years in the future, because some, you know, mostly results that I enjoy looking at. You know, I'm not where I think I could be. So hopefully, like, this would be interesting. Since this is the first episode, hopefully, like in a year, there's like growth in my work and what I'm doing. Um, and I guess this channel would be kind of like a step in that, as it gets documented, right? So I could have like an archive, a document to look at live in a video processes, and maybe the processes can change and develop as I kind of figure out what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. I don't know. Or maybe I won't even become that. Maybe just like, okay, this I enjoy doing it this way, and this is how I do things. But then I find that sometimes really boring, and then I will venture out to do it other ways. But I always seem to come back to doing it this way, because this way it's more controlled and methodical, and I can get a result that I'm happy with. I mean, seeing videos of artists just winging a drawing from rough sketch to a beautiful finished inked drawing, or from a rough sketch, wow, I'm blown away. I so much respect for artists who make comics, who make drawings. It's not. It's a process. I mean, definitely, I think it's an art form that's undervalued. Um, so I'm getting to a point where my energy level is kind of low, but I am gonna finish at least the head, and then I'm gonna chill. Took me 30 minutes again to figure how to do this. I was hoping people would be online, so we can chat. Nobody's online. No, actually, nobody's actually looking at this, so it definitely needs to be somewhat interactive, because I get tired of. Maybe you guys won't believe me, but I get tired of listening to my own voice. So let's say that we have that, and then that's XX. And I'm marking what is going to be inked, and then I use a brush pen with ink. Let's see, the ink that I use, I think it's called New York ink. Velvet waterproof India ink. I got it off Amazon. It's really, I like it because it dries opaque. And it has kind of like a velvety look at it, and it looks really good on paper, because it dries opaque and flat, and with like a smooth Bristol paper. When you look at it with the light, it looks great. There's some more opaque inks, but they're a little bit more expensive. They are a tad bit. I think they are better quality by very little, but I think for the price of the ink, this is pretty good quality. It's really good quality. And it's my first bottle, so I don't have any complaints. And why use this? Well, just because it's faster. Instead of having to dip my brush the ink. It has ink that's continuous. I just have to refill it when I'm done. When I finish the ink, it can be a little bit messy, but usually getting better at not making a mess. But if I showed you guys the floor, you would see where I've made a mess, because there's ink stains on the wood floor. And I'm just filling away, and that's basically how I ink comics. Believe me, it's nothing spectacular. It's not. I'm not slinging ink. I'm just filling in. And really think about why this works for me, and this is something that I would do even when I was super young, and I wanted to be a comic book artist when I was a kid, and I would sit down and draw on these pads that my mom would buy, and I would ink them with Sharpies and whatnot, and I would fake the shapes. I would fake the line, right? So I would like say that line would go from thick to thin. I would do that and I would fill it in. So this practice is also something that I've been doing since I was a kid, which is where you create kind of these hacks to kind of fake that comic book line back then that I was trying to achieve. And I don't do that anymore. I work from what is called a deadline, which is like one width of a line that doesn't actually define shape and form. I mean, the form more so. So it just defines shape or the shapes, and I like that. It's something that I enjoy, and I picked that up from Mike Mignola, from other artists who use like kind of like a deadline, and then ink solid shapes for shadow. And I'm trying to figure out my version, my way of rendering shape and form using just deadline and solid shapes. And okay, why do I share this? Because that's it. Making comics by hand is very tedious. So you have to kind of generate things that you enjoy, right, of the process in order to keep moving forward, and not like, oh, I have to make a comic page, but more like, okay, I'm gonna sit down and apply these things that I find fun trying to solve, and we'll do that, try making a comic book page. And that's how I keep going forward with my comics, because it's kind of like a mind hack to like convince myself that no, not auto convince, to have like something to be joyful of sitting down and working. It becomes very meditative. So this whole process is very meditative. You could be sitting down and just listening to music, or no music, or a podcast or audiobook, and working away. So how long have I been going? Okay, an hour. I'm gonna hurry up and cut this short, because I know that streams longer than an hour are a pain in the ass and nobody wants to watch. So there you go. I have almost finished this. That's where I am. I hope you enjoyed this video. I don't know when the next one will come out, but it will be soon. Thank you very much and have a great Sunday.